I'm here today with No Fracking Away. We want a ban on all unconventional gas in Australia, and the world preferably. It's a very dangerous process of extracting unconventional gas in shale and tight sands, using a whole lot of water that we can't afford to spare, hundreds of chemicals, most of which haven't been tested for safety, and it destroys farmland, contributes hugely to climate change, and we already have issues with our drinking water anyway, so we really can't afford to spare any. So it needs to be stopped.
Look, I'm here to oppose fracking in Western Australia. We don't need to expand the exploitation of fossil fuels in Western Australia or anywhere. We can meet our energy needs through renewable energy. So why risk fracking when there's solar, tidal, geothermal energy to be used out there?
Hi, my name's Alex Salmon. I'm a member of Socialist Alliance. Here today to protest against fracking industry. Sounds like it's environmentally damaging practice. It, basically only profits like a few people, and it's detrimental like water supply, water, farmland, people's livelihoods, and all that kind of stuff. And I think this is really something that's not really very good. It's dangerous and it shouldn't be allowed to happen.
I'm Michael. I came down here today because I'm concerned about fracking and the really massive implications that it has on people's lives and the environment and people's health and well-being. And hopefully as a community we can put a stop to it.
About 4 months ago, I read a post on Facebook that alerted me to the fact that fracking has started in WA. So I started researching it, and the more I found out, the more horrified I was. So within 5 days, I was at a meeting with No Fracking Way, finding out, okay, what are No Fracking Way doing about stopping fracking? I found that my desire to stop fracking is so strong that it overcomes any sort of perhaps insecurities that you may feel about public speaking or anything like that. You just feel that this is so urgent that you need to get over shyness about public speaking, any of that sort of thing, and just get out there and do anything you can to stop it.
In a nutshell, fracking is a gas mining process that involves taking a huge amount of water and chemicals and injecting it underground like a high pressure hose. This cracks open the shale rock, and when that cracks open, the gas is released. Now, unfortunately, the chemicals that they use, because they are drilling through the aquifers, those chemicals contaminate the aquifers.
We've seen what has occurred in the United States. Has anybody seen a film called Gasland?
Okay, so we're going to get ready to go. John Cadelic's going to be leading the way, and we do have to be quiet after 2 o'clock, so let's just keep an eye on our watches towards the end. I've got a paper of a couple of our chances.
I'm a doctor I'm also member of the organisation Doctors for the Environment, and we're really concerned about all the externalities which are associated with fossil fuel minings which aren't talked about. And I think our message is to let people know what's actually happening, how these industries are going to affect our health, and this is really important.
The industry actually just put $5 million into a marketing campaign which is aimed at showing, or trying to persuade people that shale and cut gas mining won't threaten the environment or the health.
Come together, take a stand, protect our water and our land.
The issue that's got the most attention with regards to fracking is pollution of water. We have a range of other concerns. One of them is actually the impact it has on the surface environment. 100,000 wells, each of which have 3 or 4 hectare well pad, truck parking bay kind of area associated with them, which needs to be cleared and levelled. All-weather roads, pipeline infrastructure, compressor stations, all of these things create an industrialised landscape. So that would be over farming land.
I'm Ali. I was invited by No Fracking Way, which I'm in the group, to come up from the southwest today to do a speech on the perspective of southwest locals and the concerns to do with fracking, tight gas, shale, all the rest of it. And so many people down there are still uninformed, and those that are informed are really scared. So the more information we can get out there with people and that people share, the better off and the more united we can be. We have to stop this before we lose our southwest.
Gasland, the movie, for me, turned me around because it was a case of just thinking, well, this is just absolutely insane. For me, it's an attempt to try and stop and preempt what's happened on the East Coast and try and protect what we have here, because we have obviously a lot of mining already, and it's not about resources and us having stuff, it's obviously about money and exploiting it. And everything that we're going to mine gas-wise, from coal seam gas and the gas we're currently mining is already going overseas anyway. So, just trying to stop that.
We went along to the talks that Jamie did, and after that we decided to form a group in Geraldton, Frack Free Geraldton, with some other crew. And so yeah, we thought we'd come down and hear what we could say and show support, because we're trying to get the movement happening up in Geraldton, and it is taking off. So, and there's lots of landholders that are really concerned. So yeah, that's the game.
This is really important today, having this kind of rally that actually gets people engaged in this issue. It's one of those issues that's bubbling away in the background, but it's going to have major ramifications for human health, for the environment, for climate, unless we actually deal with it and actually stop fracking growing as an alternative, as a way of growing the gas sector and shifting the focus away from renewables. Is a huge concern for us at Freo. So we're really proud to support it today, and I think it's really great that this campaign is really getting some momentum.
and predicting that in maybe 20 or 30 years' time that water will be the most precious and most expensive and valuable resource on the planet. And doing things like fracking is just a total waste of water.
Groovy doovy.
You guys want to try and extend that for those of you that can't make it? We've got a YouTube and film the whole event. Okay, we didn't expect to start to turn out. Thank you so much. Don't go yet. We're going to try and let the band think what we're doing. You'll be the last one if you want to come up. Excuse me, Dad. Yeah, absolutely.
Watching the footage at the same time.
It's tense silence, right?
They said that we had no rights at all, and that they would just take us to land court and get a ruling. And basically, 10 days after it was presented to land court, they come cut our padlock and come on. Unfortunately, they decided to drill that gas well that was going onto our property directly over the road on the nearest possible corner to our gateway, so that every day that we drove in or out, we saw that gas well anyway. Okay. Our next real frustration with them was when they fracked a well about 3.5 kilometres away from us, and not telling us, because they don't have to tell you anything. And the only thing that we noticed was that there was some sort of an explosion outside, and when we ran down, my granddaughter pointed to our water bore. Our water bore seemed to be fine at that stage, and we then forgot about it until one day the grandkids were in the bath and developed a burn line. So we made a complaint to the what was then the LNG enforcement unit. They sent out the gas inspectors, the most senior gas inspector in Queensland, his deputy, and a regional gas inspector and another fellow that carried the toolbox. They actually stated there was no gas in our water bore. At the same time, Dave Pratsky, a frack man, had already put a gas meter on our water bore and a screen, and we'd also lit it. So these guys were on camera for all of that. That footage has never been released yet, but it should be in the near future. There's scientific evidence that that fracked well actually fracked up into the aquifer, or up into the formation that our aquifer sits in. That will be released as time progresses.
If we go down this fracking route, we are going to find ourselves in a cul-de-sac with fundamentally disastrous outcomes.
The health effects of fracking are cumulative. That means they build up over time, and they may be acute they can be delayed and long-term. Hamburger Oswald, they actually identified a lot of problems to human health and to animal pet health in the area where fracking was occurring. And they came up with a statement, which is a bit chilling. Without rigorous scientific studies, the gas drilling boom sweeping the world will remain an uncontrolled health experiment on an enormous scale.
It's not one gas well. It's a gas well linked to another, to another, to another. There are hundreds and hundreds of them in Queensland. A friend of mine estimates there'll be 280,000 gas wells. It industrialises our countryside. They talk about farmers coexisting with coal seam gas or unconventional gas mining. I can't see that's possible. We've got a video up at the moment where they tore our fence down. I mean, that's not coexistence. It's my belief that the title, the actual mineral title under our land, or especially petroleum title, is not a lawful title. I guess what people have to do is educate themselves. Anyone that wants to use the slightest piece of common sense now is going to work out that in Australia, water is our most precious commodity. Farming would be is a precious commodity because we have the potential to have clean food and clean water and clean air in Australia. We need to keep that. And this industry poisons water, it poisons air, and it poisons people. It isn't a safe industry. It's brought no prosperity long term to our town.
We contacted the Fremantle Council and put an application to do it. They'd already been approached by the police saying that we were going to do an event. They said that they wanted to stop it. Once we put the application in, they went over the application and said that they wanted to block it. And the Fremantle Council said that there was no good reason to be blocking it. So obviously there was surveillance there, otherwise they wouldn't have known that we were putting this event on. So I think it's across the board pretty much.
Fracking is very new technology. There's only been about a dozen done in Western Australia. When they talk about fracks, they're talking about oil field fracks, completely different process. They're just playing on the fact that you use the same word too. But it has the potential to become one of the world's largest shale and tight gas mining precincts. The Kimberley in particular is a massive shale gas field. It's the 5th largest shale gas field in the world. Every one of those wells is going to be a threat to the environment, both in the short term, but also in the longer term, because once a well's been sunk, it remains a threat forever.
Us as little people, if we don't stand up together, then we don't have a say. And we will go down the gurgler just like Africa. No food, no water. You take away the topsoil, there's nothing. Once you take the topsoil away, it's dead. It's a desert. So we have to fight for our lives.
There have been studies done in the US where there is correlation with earthquake activity in the US with a whole bunch of frack wells. There is no way to actually control where the fracks go.
Opposing fracking. It appears that this is unanimous.
And this movement is only going to grow from here. We've pulled several hundred people today, and it's a very, very special occasion. And yeah, I think the example of Over East and also our recent examples of the campaigns against the Kimberley and the Vass Coal project in Margaret River demonstrate that if people come together around a concrete demand in large numbers, over time, like persistence is important, you don't just give up after one rally, over time, and if we are determined to do whatever it takes to defeat this industry, if enough of us are united around those principles, we will defeat the fracking threat in WA.